And we're joined today with Aaron Jensen from the city of Waupaca and Ron Sari from the Waupaca School District. Welcome.
Hey,
Thank you,
Josh.
Josh. Good to see you.
And we're going to start again. We'll start with the big topic that's on top of our minds. We got a lot to talk about today, but that first topic is COVID. And we learned last week a lot has changed with what's going on in our state. And we've been noticing a lot of businesses in our community are opening. Do you want to talk about that, Aaron?
Yeah, I do. Everyone knows last Wednesday that the Supreme Court struck down the safer at home order. And then in the next 24 hours, counties kind of scrambled to put their own orders in place. And those look very different depending on what the county situations were. Our county adopted the WEDC guidelines. That's the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. And then they placed a limit of mass gatherings of 50 people. And one thing we've noticed over the last, now it's been about a week since then, and we've noticed that, and we've talked about it a lot here at City Hall, our businesses really appear to be doing a good job at reopening in a responsible fashion. Everything we've heard is along those lines, and we really haven't heard complaints at all in the last week. So I just want to really commend them on their efforts, because it is an effort. It's a whole different way of doing business. There's some research involved in what do those WEDC guidelines mean, and what does it mean for you as a specific business. And it means changing things around for the public health of our whole area. And so I just wanted to say thank you to all of them for doing a really nice job over the last week.
Now, you speak that there's some guidelines out there. The county kind of put an order out there. Do you want to elaborate on maybe some of the details there and how businesses can learn more on the details, how they should be safely reopening?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did get a lot of questions on Friday, which is the day after that order was made. And the questions were just, what am I supposed to do? Can I do this as a restaurant? Can I do this as a manufacturing place? Can I, and so we would go through and we'd look at the guidelines, but everyone can, and people can continue to call us on that. We're happy to answer any questions, and we're not the public health department, and we're not lawyers or anything like that, but we can certainly read the guidelines. But anyone who wants to go on and look for themselves as well, WEDC.org has all of those guidelines, and it's nice. It has it for if you're a restaurant specific, or if you are, for us, we look at the public facility ones, if you're in manufacturing, if you're in retail, and it has all that outlined. If you have a business and you don't think that you are in the list of guidelines that they have, give us a call. We'd be happy to touch base with our public health department and kind of look for guidance from them too. So.
Very good. And with businesses opening and other things kind of reopening, there's some conversations around reopening some of the city facilities, whether it's City Hall or the library. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, so we had a city council meeting last night. And one thing we did this past week, and Josh, you were a part of it, after we kind of got done answering the questions for the businesses late last week, over the weekend, we were able to go over those WEDC guidelines for opening public facilities. And what we did is we just matched up what are those guidelines, and then what was our guidelines for returning employees back to work, and where were the gaps. And we just highlighted and said, these are the areas that we're falling short, that we didn't have outlined in our original plan moving back, or these are the things that we had in our outline, but we just haven't been able to get done yet. So for us to open, we need to meet those guidelines, and we're working towards that. Some of it's just contingent on getting supplies. So right now, supplies are tough to get, or they're on back order, whether it be masks or sneeze guards or those kinds of things. So we took it to council. I explained that to them last night, and I said, my plan is to come forward on June 2nd with more of a plan, because I think at that point, we will have in our possession all the things we need to check all the boxes and go forward. And maybe I'm wrong, because some of this stuff is taking longer than you think, but that's our hope. And then hopefully we can introduce a plan to open up at least in some capacity over the month of June. So that's what that looks like.
Looking forward, we're getting to the point where it's almost the unofficial start of summer. That's, if I look at my calendar, less than a week away. And that means a lot of things. Ryan, I know you want to speak about Memorial Day a little bit.
Well, yeah, Memorial Day typically, marks the very close to the end of the school year, and we know that this 3-day weekend is important to families, and also that it's important to veterans. And so, from the school district's perspective, we'd like to just thank all of our veterans, especially those veterans that gave their lives for us and our freedoms. It's a day for us to remember them and our military who are working right now to keep us free, and all of our veterans, especially those out in King. We just want to thank them.
And as we get past Memorial Day, there's a couple things that we all start thinking about. The first is the end of the school year. So you're going to be setting up with the parents and students to get devices or books or other materials returned. How's that process going to work?
Yeah, that's correct, Josh. The principals are going to be sending out here within the next couple of days schedules to all of the parents and students as far as the staggered coming in and dropping off curbside their devices and any other resources like textbooks that they may have. The last day of school for students is Friday, June 5th. The last work day for teachers and other staff is Monday, June 8th. And we're going to be having typically the district has a morning breakfast that's like a celebration of the year and acknowledging the retirees. We won't be able to be in person to do that, but we're going to be doing that virtually on that Monday, the 8th, on Friday, May 29th. So that's a little over a week. Next week, Friday, is the last day of new learning for our students. And then after that, there will be remediation, reviews, and maybe some additional enrichment activities that will be going on for that following week. But it looks like Wednesday and Thursday, June 3rd and 4th, are the two main days for everybody to bring their materials back to school. Starting last week and through this week and next week, the teachers are starting to come in on a schedule to tie up their rooms and get ready for the summer break.
And then end of the school year signals graduation. We know that it's going to be a virtual graduation, and that's taking place on Sunday, May 31st. Public is attended. How can people learn more about that?
That's going to be live streamed at 2:00 on the 31st, Josh. So yeah, anybody will be able to just click on the link for that live stream, and it'll go starting at 2. And it's going to be a great show. We're excited and looking forward to it.
And we know it's not traditional, but what a great way to make it easy for the community to attend.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to have great attendance.
And now we're thinking summer, and a lot going on this summer. The first, we're looking at parks and recreation. There's some facilities that will slowly be opening up in the parks. We also want to talk about what may be happening with youth programs. Aaron, what can you elaborate on?
Yeah. So that's a big question in a lot of municipalities right now. And how are people handling the youth programs? Our park and rec department starts ramping up this time of year. There's programs in the library that start to happen, summer reading, things like that. So we've been involved in a lot of conversations, and there hasn't been a ton of guidance until this morning. Wisconsin State DHS came out with some guidelines on youth programs and youth sports. And so we're sifting through some of those right now, talking with Andrew, our Parks and Recreation Director, on what that means for us. Was on a call with some other city administrators this morning. And we'll be bringing forward some recommendations based off of those recommendations, likely to our June 2nd council meeting as well. Right now, it's all about can you meet the guidelines within your county order while holding those, and it's that's tough to do with a bunch of 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, whatever it may be. So those are the things you have to look at, and so those are the conversations we'll be having a lot of over the next week.
And I know one of the recent announcements from the city, our playgrounds are usable again. The skate park is open. What's going on with the parks right now?
Yeah, playgrounds and skate park are usable again, and that actually started as soon as that Safer at Home order was struck down last week. Nothing in our county order specifies anything on playgrounds or the skate park or anything like that. The one thing we do have signage up that states, hey, it is open, it's free to use, but it's going to be used at your own risk type thing. We don't have the staff to go and be cleaning playgrounds and every piece of playgrounds daily or at all. So I think it's important that the public knows that, but they can use it at their own risk if they choose to.
So as we talk about what's going at the parks with the playgrounds and the skate park being reopened at your own risk, the other big question out there is about the bathrooms and some of the other facilities. Can you tell us what's going on with those?
Yeah, so bathrooms has been a big question, topic of conversation amongst park users. Again, just like all of our other public facilities, we want to make sure we're meeting the guidelines that are set forth for outdoor recreation in parks for those bathrooms. And our park staff has been working hard, getting the resources and able to clean those as frequently as we need to open them. And they're actually, what they're doing, they're opening starting tomorrow, kind of a soft opening, and then they'll be open for Memorial Day weekend. They're going to shorten their hours a little bit. And then they're going to clean them 2 to 3 times a day. And those hours, the cleanings are going to be posted outside the bathrooms. I know our park and rec director is going to put a little statement together that they're going to share on their social media account, so everyone is aware of what that'll look like. Yeah, that just so the public knows, bathrooms will be available for use. They will be cleaned periodically throughout the day. It's one of those, again, use at your own risk type of scenarios, but they will be available.
So we talked about parks, we talked about maybe some upcoming information about youth programs this summer. And the other thing that comes with summer, Ron, is summer school. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, summer school is planned and it will be virtual this year. Instead of starting in the month of June, we're going to be starting this year in the month of July. So registration has been sent out to families, but the last day for registration is Friday, May 29th. So that's next week on Friday. So we're pretty excited about that. And I know people are still asking, is there a chance it will be in person? And we don't think it will be in person. We're pretty confident it will be virtual.
So a lot coming up as we think about summer, Memorial Day weekend, and then you mix COVID into here and things are a little bit different this year. But I hope everyone enjoys their upcoming holiday weekend and remembers our fallen heroes as part of the weekend too.
Yeah, one last thing I wanted to mention, Josh, I forgot earlier, is that when Go Right Way, our transportation provider, is out delivering lunches, they shared with us that sometimes dogs leave the house and they get excited and the pets are biting our drivers. So if families that have that situation going on, please try to keep your pets in your house when the drivers are delivering the meals, because if they keep getting bit, the family will have to go to the school to pick up the lunch, the meal.
You'd never think bus driving was that hazardous.
No, you wouldn't, would you?
Ron, Aaron, as always, thanks again for some time to get the Waupaca community up to date with what's going on with the city and school.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Josh.
Thanks,
We'll
Josh.
talk again next week.
Okay, take care.